I know. Happy Tuesday. Got my voice back for the most part. Still coughing a little bit. I had an ear infection, over the weekend, so wasn't hasn't been a whole lot of fun, but seemed to be better than I have been in days. So we're back on Tuesday. Bitcoin, pretty significant move yesterday, breaking to the upside. We're still outside the Bollinger Bands, right? So look at this on the daily chart. So this yellow arrow, right, pointing to this yellow line. That's absolutely where you need to be holding on to keep the bullish momentum. That's the worst case. Best case is the EMA 8 and the 14. Uh, look back at the previous move up, right? This is what we could absolutely do again, right? One basically. I mean, look at how many candles printed outside. One, two, three, four, five, six. Really, six daily candles printed outside the Bollinger Bands before we consolidated a bit and then went again, right, bounce off the EMA 8, right? It's only when you close below the EMA 8, I mean, right there, where the ice starts to crack a bit, and then you want to just, pause, and, consider yourself. You can go up a little bit more, but more oftentimes than not, much more than 50-50, you're going to go down in the not so distant future, right? It doesn't mean you can't go back up, but then you come back down again, right? This is just breaking the pattern of the ultra bulls, right? When you do something like this. So watch for that on the daily. Just because we're outside right now doesn't mean tomorrow we have to absolutely come back in immediately, right? But if you miss the move, right, it's real risky to start buying in at these points. Not, I mean, we could be at 32K tomorrow. We could be at 29, 27K tomorrow. But the bull line on the daily chart, to maintain the bullish momentum to the biggest possibilities, throwbacks and retests need to hold at 21. Okay, so let's go back and zoom in a little bit, even on the 4 hour. See if we can spot anything else. So something similar like this, like on the daily chart, right? Compare the 4 hour and the daily chart. The daily chart could do something very similar to this. So on the daily, right, we're just now like on our second candle outside the bands, right? Look at the 4 hour. Imagine the daily chart does something like this. Imagine we're, in this candle or this candle right here, right? This is probably, if you translate this over to the daily, this is probably 32, 33K, maybe something in there, before we see what we're going to do next. So in the 4 hour, same thing applies. If you come back, you really, for the ultimate bull, you hold the 8, right? Let's go back and look, right? Look at this. Move up, bounce, consolidated for one candle, bounce off the EMA 8, move up, coming down, held the EMA 8 with closes. We're looking at closes here. Look at that close down, but held the 14, even wick down to almost the 21, the yellow line, right? And then bullish back up, right? Just you can get a lot out of previous moves. Sketchy here, right? That's what we're looking for at this point. I would say one of these candles, maybe even on the daily chart or weekly chart, is coming. One of these, I call it the devil candle, right? It's just drag your way down, right? That is likely coming because we haven't had any significant downside since going up. So now that we've looked at the short time frame, right, you want to hold these top three and on the 4 hour. So if we break on the 4 hour below the 21, right, look at that. That's holding. Let's clear this up here. Look at where the 21 would be. So if we kind of retest the 21, it's still holding on top of basically every candle that we've consolidated at. So that's still a good sign on the 4 hour. If we break through it, then you want to zoom out right to the daily chart. And same thing if you go up, right? So let's go up to, let's go to the 3 day, right? Look at the holding, right? When we talked about this for weeks, it felt like, holding above the 200 EMA, which is also the 600-day EMA, on the daily chart. This is the 3 day, but look how well we held that. That's bullish. Look at the moving averages, crossing, sorting out, bullish, right? Not a whole lot the bears had to lean on here, besides something to fit their narrative. Now, looking at the 3 day chart, there's no more moving averages above. So what do we have to do? We need to look left. And where did we consolidate prior? Well, we're coming right into the hot zone here, right? This is kind of the area, and that's what I would be looking at next. We're kind of there, right? So let's draw this, and right in that area, this is be a big zone. So 32K for the top, right? I would give it to 32, maybe 32.5, something like that. I would say the odds are something in here holds. Maybe we have enough momentum to poke through it. If we do, I mean, we have double, triple whammies ahead of us here. I mean, above this zone, you got all of this. You got all of this, right? We're not going, I mean, I would go 95% in my book that we cannot possibly go higher than, 40K before a retest. We have to retest. That would be super unhealthy if we did this, right? I mean, look at what we would have to do. We would have to go basically up to here. I mean, damn. Without that would be bad, right? Something like this would be worrisome to me. I would rather, consolidate here, go back and test 25K, remain healthy, and then let's go again. If we go too much higher, I would give it to 32. If we're above 32, that's starting to worry me a big bit. Not in the sense that we go, back to mega bear, but in the sense that we could be looking at like a 20% weekly to the downside, some kind of a massive, move up. Maybe we poke to like 33 and then, back to, I mean, what would it be? Let's take a look. 33K. What's 20%? It gets us to 25. So that would definitely shake some people up. I mean, we could even get something crazy. Like, imagine we go from like 33 to maybe like low 20s or some kind of stupid candle, right? 30%. I mean, where we go from here? 30%. 20% gets us to 24K. We're still good there, really. 25, 22. 30% gets us back to like 20K. Then we start getting iffy. But the higher we go, the more the odds favor of a dramatic, drop down. Okay, so healthy consolidations are fine, right? This is what we would want to see. Like the moves up and then consolidate, a move up and then consolidate is great. We could really keep doing that. The issue would be is if we go too high too fast, right? It's like a deck of cards. It's going to come down pretty hard. So I'm still watching. I don't see anything, major yet. There's a little bit of divergence on, the daily chart as of now, right? Let's go look at that. Maybe you've seen it on a couple of your favorite YouTubers channels. But nothing to really write home about just yet. The biggest one for me, I mean, the Fisher transform divergence is the ultimate one. I mean, look at back here, right? So from January, look at the peak on the Fisher down at the bottom. See that? How high it is? Right? Let's just zoom into the Fisher. I mean, you don't have to make it complex here. Just draw a line from the top to where we are now, right? And then do the same thing for price from the same starting point, right? I mean, it's doing the exact opposite. That's concerning. Fisher transform has a lot of math involved, a lot more than your RSI that a lot of people try to use. But I mean, look at this. I mean, it's starting to get bigger here, right? So that in conjunction of some other stuff, right? It just doesn't seem like it's sustainable at this pace. So we've talked about that as well. If we go up, maybe a couple more weeks at best case, maybe we hit mid 30s. That's probably as best as I could see for now, at least to remain healthy. Excuse me, sip of water. Look at the MFI too, right? Money flow. This is calculated volume doing the same thing, right? So the daily chart, our peak back in January, and it's less and less volume as we move on. So that it's not abnormal. We're likely. I think everyone that's watching this is aware that Bitcoin likes to have pullbacks along the way. Retests, that's coming, right? That's coming. We haven't had a significant one yet. Usually Bitcoin likes to wait until it's, it catch you off guard, right? So it's not likely to be here. We've breached 30K. I think we probably have a little bit higher to go. It could last another few days. It could last another few weeks, right? Nobody knows. But it's there. The warning signs are there that, the downside is coming. You don't want to blindly start buying if we get to, those breakout levels. Like 25K is where I would initially expect kind of a daily, weekly retest. But I mean, look, worst case for the bulls, I would say the 200-day EMA. So that will roughly be around 23.5, 24. I don't really see it being above 25K. I think it's going to happen in the next probably month, I would guess, for a dramatic decline. I think it would be rather significant, at least to start. So prepare yourselves for that. Don't go into ultimate shock if you see Bitcoin down 5-10% in a morning when you wake up. It's coming, but still healthy, right? I mean, you can't ask for something. We're up 2x from the bottom, right? Almost, quite literally, right? 15. We're almost up 2x from the bottom, right? Keep that in mind. We haven't had any kind of significant drawdowns yet, right? It's coming. But we could absolutely be at, a 10% higher before that's coming. So just trying to, prepare you. Not saying it's coming soon, but it could. Bitcoin never make it easy. So if you're waiting for, the retest of lowers, right? I'm waiting for that to put more capital in. You don't want to do it blindly, really, because you don't know where the knife is going to drop to. It'd be nice to, everyone just kind of, plan it. You buy in at 25K, it reverses at 25K, and we go back up, right? That's ideal. You want to buy in at the exact point where it reverses permanently, right? That's not how you're going to do it. Now, I would, just my opinion, dollar cost averaging is great. You could do that now. But just dollar cost averaging, you got to have a little bit different longer term mindset. You can't say I'm going to dollar cost average here and then be upset when tomorrow it's at 28K, or we get one of those liquid, those devil candles down to 25K in a given week. You can't be that upset about it, right? That's why you're dollar cost averaging. You're just trying to add to your position for the long haul. If that's not you, and you just want to add big chunks at the significant times, then I would say you'd start maybe a little bit of a chunk at 25K because that's a pretty significant level on the 3-day chart, on the weekly chart. That's it, right? This is the level I would start at, and I will definitely be adding right there. Not that I know that it's going to stop there. We could absolutely just nuke through that and go to 20 or, wick down to 19, something like that. Who cares? This is the level where I think that given the recent events, 25K, I'm happy to know that I bought some Bitcoin in 2023 for 25K, because I know likely in the year 2025, Bitcoin will be higher than 25K. So that's the mindset you need to have if you're trying to wait for that, right? You're buying at 25K, not that that's the bottom, but that will be a great price or dollar cost average in 2 years from now, right? And you don't have to buy Bitcoin here, right? Buy Matic or buy Cardano or XRP or whatever your favorite alt is. Throw some in when Bitcoin is at around that level. This is a significant level that should roughly hold. Now, roughly, could it go down to 23K and then reverse? Yeah. Could it go lower? Of course. That's why you're not going 100% in right here, right? But this would be the first level for me that I would add a significant portion back to the market, or initially to the market. If you're sidelined, you're playing with fire, getting up in this area after something's done at 2x and a couple months here. This is starting to get dangerous ahead, right? We're looking at significant times ahead of us here for resistance. 32K seems like a decent place to start looking at that, even on the daily chart. The weekly chart, we have a lot of closes. Highly unlikely that we're getting through that box before coming back down. Maybe we don't even get to it. Maybe we do a tag at 31.5 or something and then move back down. But we're watching for the signs of a top. What would the signs be? Well, let's go back and look at history. Something like this, right? These bigger moves often have a massive either hesitation candle where you're just going sideways like this, right? Look at that. Small body candles, which we just had, right? Or a big wick on top, outside the Bollinger Bands. If we get that, you know, I mean, look at this pullback, right? From the top to the low of 31%. We will absolutely get a 30% drawdown for the next several years, time to time. It's going to happen. If you can't stomach that, then you need to be waiting for some kind of 20% pullback. But guess what? The EMA8 hold, right? The EMA8 on the weekly held. How far away are we now from the EMA8? We're not that far from it. So we could absolutely, like, you know, go up to here before a, you know, a significant drawback. So if we get up there in the next, even let's say we are May 1st, right? We're at 35K or something crazy, right? What's the pullback? You know, 20% would likely get us very close, 15-20% to that EMA8. That's, you know, that would be absolutely normal. That would be much less severe than any of those kind of moves, right? But look at the start of that mountain. Now, I still think these kind of moves are likely a year away, right? We've done a 2x off the bottom, right? You're not going to just get that right off the bang of a, you know, big bear market, right? This is going to take time. So I think we're roughly coming to at least a decent local top, somewhere between here and 35-ish K, give or take, right? And then, you know, what are the odds? You know, to me, is just maybe back down this mountain a little bit, hesitate, hold, maybe altcoins move a little bit once it initially holds, something like that. Or this 200, we need to kind of roughly hold that. So maybe draw that a little bit too low. But, you know, and sorry to ramble here. Hopefully you're still haven't clicked off because of absolute boredom. But, you know, maybe something like that. And then just a kind of a move back down or a sharper move down and then consolidate, right? And then we slowly move back up again. I don't think we're going to see this kind of sharp move like we've done, you know, a $20,000 move to the upside in a couple months. I doubt that that's coming again out in whatever area this is, right? It's going to take some time. I mean, look at this. This is February, March. This is a year from now, right? Could we be at 40K in a year from now? Sure. But I think it's probably going to roughly take something like that. I think we're about done with this move, give or take, in the next couple months. Could we come up here and hold and then kind of bleed out and then just kind of move back up again? Yeah, something loosely fit to kind of a zigzag S curve, something like that. That's probably about average. I think we'll look back in a year from now and it'll look something similar to like the ebb and flow of that. If you just put it on the closing price, let me remove these drawings here. It gets a little busy, right? So if you put it on the closing price, say the blue line here, roughly speaking, I think we're probably going to follow something, you know, ebb and flow around that. Now, could we go up here or down here a little bit more, right? Yeah, but you know, the rough average of these moves, I think, will look something similar to that. Okay, if I had to guess, that would be it. I think we're between here and summertime, we're about ready to at least local top out. I don't know if that top is at, you know, low 40s, 30. We're at it now. Loosely based. I mean, it just seems like, look at all of this. It seems like we're not going to just blow through that. We're going to need some time, right? You don't just walk up to the best MMA fighter on the planet Earth and think you're just going to walk right through him, right? You've been fighting all the poultry people down here, right? This is significant and you've proven yourself a bit, but you're walking into the big show right now. You're not going to just knock down number one here. This is number one on the weekly chart. This is absolutely not just going to go down like, you know, some of this other stuff did. Why did we go up here? Well, we had no significant face, you know, to hold, right? There's, like I said, there's not significant fighters down here, right? We can recover, and that is proving yourself. This is big time, right? We're approaching the big time. We're going to need some time, right? We get up here, we say, oh shit, this is a little bit more difficult. Okay, well, let's take some time, build up our strength, train a little bit more, and then we're ready for the World Showcase, right? Likely going to take some time. That's my opinion. But, you know, I've seen a lot of shit. So I would say something like that. Prepare yourself for the move that's coming to the downside. I don't know if it's going to be significant, or are we just going to like, go to 34 and then go back and chill at, 25, 30. I think it's something like that. But, the higher we go, the faster we go, the more significant the drawback's going to be, right? And, retrospect, does that look like any panic mode? No, right? Look at this. No panic here. But in the time, it's oh shit, right? 30% drawdown from happy times, and we could have absolutely like a blow off top, and go like we could nuke to 37K, right? That's over 20% from where we are now. That would get everybody on board to the bull train, and then rinse it back down, put everyone back to reality. 30% drawback to 25K, absolutely normal. But that would blows people's minds, right? Especially for new people that are like, oh, Bitcoin's back. It's at 37K already. It's going to 50 tomorrow. Might as well just jump in. Well, I'll jump in at 37K. I'll be good for a couple years. And then they wake up 2 months later, 25K, right? So Bitcoin will likely do that forever, right? It gets everybody on board. It waits, right? It would make no sense to go down just yet, in my opinion, right? It could go down. I feel like it hasn't, put all the bears to sleep just yet. I feel like it wants to wake up all the bulls, get the bears on their side of the fence, and then nuke it. So I think we got some higher prices, but we're entering enemy territory in a big way relatively soon here. 30 to 40K is we're in enemy territory. The farther we go into enemy territory, the bigger the guns are, right? If somehow we do make it above 35K, maybe some shorts come back onto the table. I don't know. It's hard to set up shorts in a confident way at the start of a bull run, because it can reverse a lot of volatility. Don't really recommend it, but look for it. Watch for a candle. We'll watch for a weekly candle to maybe do something like this. Look at this guy, right? That would be the ideal signal that a local top is in on a weekly. If we see that, if it wicks to 37 or 35, and then it comes down and closes like 32. That would be a huge warning sign. So looking for that, maybe we get an early warning sign on like the 3-day or the daily, but we'll talk more about that. Just want to give you a bigger kind of update, kind of what we're looking ahead for even the next, several weeks to several months to 12 months, right? We even looked at a year from now. Prices could be relatively similar to here, but I would say, slow, steady incline after the kind of retrace and consolidation.